Part of the whole Chicago One franchise.
It's such a great network. It's a family. What's it like? Gosh, we get to cross over on the other shows, and we get to welcome some characters, onto our set from the other shows. And then on weekends, we get to hang out. It's nicer to feel like our community is a little bit broader than just, an isolated show in the middle of a place that you're not from. It's nice to have like a wider community.
Was it a little? Were you a little nervous first stepping in? Because you're coming off the back of 2 successful shows. Now you're show number 3 initially, and what was that like? And did you have any advice for the guys at Chicago Justice?
I think all shows stand independent, but within the culture of one city.
Yeah.
So I think ultimately there was no sense of picking up their mantle, because the conversation that the medical institution is having with the United States, or that we're having with the city of Chicago, I didn't feel at all that I was picking up a mantle, but I did feel that we were carrying a responsibility of their storyline, that when we crossed over, we did have to keep an authenticity to their characters and to what they were doing previously. Yaya had crossed over earlier than any of us because she was part of the original team that was there. So we just had to watch what they were doing and just pretty much just collaborate with people who had been there before, especially when it came to storylines that crossed over. But in regards to my character as a nurse or a charge nurse, what I really focused on was telling the story of the charge nurse that is from Chicago, from the South Side, who had to climb her way all the way to the top to be part of one of the greatest hospitals in the state.
Where are you from originally? I know a lot of people on the cast are from Chicago, right?
Oh.
In these shows, like.
No, I'm a New Yorker.
You're a New Yorker.
Most people are not from Chicago.
Yeah,
Okay. I saw a few. Yeah.
Really?
Who's from Chicago? From us?
No, maybe not from.
John
Day
players.
Day players, yeah.
Yeah, of course. Chicago has. This is one of the best parts of filming here. Is the resources. I mean, they have the best actors. I've gone to see a couple of plays, and I'm just like, let's get him on our show, let's get her. I mean, really great theater community, really great actors, and it's nice to just be able to, get local people, and because that gives that adds to the vibe of the show, so that people watching can say, oh yeah, there's an authentic Chicago accent. It's really nice.
I like that the shows have really dove into your personal lives with your sister and Tate's child. Like, will we see more of that as season 2 continues?
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely. I think that's part of the core of the show, is to be able to understand who are these people that show up to work and clock in every day. I think to reveal what these people actually do for a living, when you think about a nurse or a doctor or firefighter or police officer, you have to think about them as human beings, and I think that's what we're doing really well right now, is we're showing the backstory of each person's life at a digestible pace.
Well, your character seems to know everything about everybody.
Yeah, she tends to be one of my producers called her like the heart of the show. And she'll ask the question that the audience is asking for, but according to the relationship that she has with that person, and we'll have a parameter within that relationship, So I think it's been a really great responsibility to be able to be in every single person's storyline. And that's something consciously we had a conversation about, that when we were discussing who the charge nurse was, I agreed with the fact that let's dive into other people's stories, and then let's find out how she maintains such a stable demeanor in the hospital. And that would be a lot more sacred than that story, this story, that story, and coming back.
Well, I thought it was interesting that she's so giving to everyone else all the time, and she's such a support for everybody she works with, that then when it comes to your storyline where you need support, it's interesting to see how it's given back or not.
And that was something that we discussed a little bit about when we were starting to put Maggie's character together for season 2, is who are the people that invest in her as much as she invests in them. And I think that's fair to say in pretty much everybody's relationship in everybody's life, right? So
Have you guys reached the point where the writers come to you and say, what do you think the character would do in this? Do you have that kind of input at this stage?
Not for me specifically. I think that they're open to feedback when we have opinions about something, but we learn more about our characters every week when the scripts come in, and they have a wider view, you know, so they're writing. We may not understand something in the moment or how it relates, 6 episodes down the line, and they're looking at the bigger picture. So they're definitely receptive, but they're an amazing team. I mean, we have the best writers, so yeah, I don't really make it a habit of questioning them or, or discussing things too much. I kind of go with the flow. I mean, and I'm always pleasantly surprised.
Were your characters brother stuck together? Are you whipping him into shape, sort of?
Did you see last week's episode?
Yeah.
I think that was kind of a glimpse into the direction that he's heading. He's growing up, and yeah, my character is definitely proud of him. I mean, he's still, he's a hustler, so he's gonna do what he's gonna do. But I think he's gonna be more respectful of the parameters of the hospital and the law in the future.
Well, it turned out all right, I guess.
Yeah.
How does Med and PD and Med and Fire, they kind of make sense as to go crossover-wise. Do you have a lot of interaction or chance to be with the Justice folks, or is that something that you think will cross over?
I did the pilot episode that started from the 21 on Justice, and I guess as witnesses to events or any program that we might be socially involved that would require a crossover. So that's a big question. But again, like Yaya was saying, is that you have these godheads called the writers, and you discover your character. Oh, I didn't know I had a broken arm, But now that I do, I feel a twitch this episode, So it's one of those things where you get invited to the shows, and that's the beauty, I think, of this brilliant idea that Dick had of making the city the star and the infrastructures that help run the city, the characters, because normally you sign on to a show and 22 episodes, you can't do anything else because, first of all, wherever you remotely shoot, remember Lost? They shot in Hawaii. Where are you going? You're not going anywhere for the entire 10 months. But for us, we get to do a guest star on this one, and a guest star on that one, and guest star. And you discover more about your character in these other situations, and then you get to bring it back home. And here you are with like these multi-layers that have been developed elsewhere with other people. I'm about to shoot an episode on Fire today, actually, and I get to discover something I never discovered about myself at all, about this relationship I have with Springfield nurses. I'm like, oh, okay. And about these pediatric nurses that I'm great friends with. I'm like, oh, I do? Oh, okay, great. So it's really special to be able to do this.
Well, every show sort of has its own pace and flavor too, right? So does that affect you when you cross over?
It affects me. It does. I love theater, so I'm always feeding off of whoever I'm working with, and if I'm in front of 3 Chicago Fire actors who are giving me Chicago Fire energy, even without trying, somehow I respond. Like if it's pace, if it's, I'm still April, but I do sense it's subtle, but it's the difference is there.
Which is totally real life too. I mean, in a different situation.
Completely.
You react.
Yeah.
But they're generous enough, I would say, when they come into our set. They'll ask us, how does Chicago Med react to an incident like this when they come in? So I've had a lot of great directors when they come to our set say, okay, here's the scene, Marlyne. How would the charge nurse respond to this? I want mid-atmosphere for this. I'm like, okay, let's do it. So the great thing is that our extras maintain the ground of Chicago Med. So I'll talk to the extras that are regularly with me, and I said, okay, let's bring the med pace to this, and then we just keep on moving, What I wanted to see is on the 100th episode, did med exist on Fire? but we didn't get to find out. I'm like, I'm sure we were something.
All right,
You know,
guys.
maybe we were nuns.
How's it having Clark?
It's sexy. It's sexy. He's that brother that you want to fight and love all at the same time. And he has this testosterone that he brings. He's just different. He's different, and I love him. We share trailers and we bang on each other's walls. I'm ready. Get out. We gotta go shoot this scene. And we have a really great relationship. I love that guy.
He's cool.